Hello, Scorpio. Before we begin, I want you to take a slow, intentional breath. Release the tension in your shoulders. Let go of the need to understand everything right now. Just listen with the part of you that has always known there's more to this life than what others see. What I'm about to share isn't a prediction or poetic flattery. It's a confirmation of something you've always felt but never had the words to explain. You've always been different, not because you tried to be, but because you were born carrying something that set you apart in intensity, a silence that speaks louder than noise, an ability to sense what others miss entirely. And no, it's not your imagination. It's not emotional exaggeration. It's not even ego. It's a quiet truth that's been with you since birth. You are the most spiritually powerful soul in your entire family's lineage, not just emotionally resilient, but energetically unmatched in your ability to move through darkness without losing yourself. Your life has never been about ease. It has been about depth, about seeing what's hidden, feeling what's unspoken, and surviving what would break others. And all of that, every quiet scar, every internal storm was never random. It was preparing you because you are the culmination of generations of survival, pain, strength, and inner knowing. You don't just carry their legacy, you are the legacy in its most evolved form. And that leads us to the next truth, Scorpion, that may shift how you see everything moving forward. This strength you carry, it's not meant to stay hidden anymore. Over generations. Scorpio, your bloodline has not only passed down strength, bupin, survival instincts, emotional intelligence, and an unspoken kind of wisdom that can't be taught in this lifetime. What they endured your ancestors was not just personal suffering. It was a silent, sacred preparation. The betrayals they never spoke of, the sacrifices no one ever thanked them for, the secrets they carried to their graves, all of it formed an invisible structure of endurance that now lives in you. Not metaphorically, energetically, you are the final vessel, the living, breathing answer to every unfulfilled prayer whispered in despair. Every time someone in your lineage kept going when they had every reason to quit, they deposited something into the spiritual vault of your DNA. And now that vault opens in you. You are not simply the heir to this force. You are its most complete expression. The armor you wear on your soul, the quiet readiness, the intense self-protection, the need to test before you trust. It's not paranoia. It's instinct refined through centuries. Your soul is layered with the armor forged from ancestral fire wounds that have already bled, so you wouldn't have to start from nothing. Your pain has context. Your strength has memory. And your depth, Scorpio, is not a curse. It is the very thing that was chosen to carry forward a story that no one else had the capacity to continue. And that's why the weight you feel isn't weakness. It's inheritance. And now that you're starting to remember who you are, the question isn't whether you're ready, the question is whether you'll allow yourself to become the force you were always meant to be. You've never needed to shout to be heard. Scorpio, your presence speaks long before your voice does. There is a gravity to you, an unseen current that pulls people in time, that makes them sit up straighter, breathe a little deeper, question what they thought they knew. You don't wear your strength on your sleeve because it's not performative, it's elemental. It exists in your silence, in the way your eyes hold steady while others shift, in the stillness you bring to chaos, not because you force it, but because your very energy demands it. People feel it. They may not understand it. They may not be able to name it, but they react to it all the same, some with trust, others with discomfort. That's not your burden. That's your nature. You walk into a room and something shifts, not because you seek attention, but because your aura carries the memory of everything you've survived. People feel safer when you're around and they don't know why. They speak their truths to you without understanding why they feel so exposed yet relieved. And when someone lies to you, even with a smile on their face, you feel the fracture instantly, not because you're suspicious, but because truth and falsehood register in your body like sound and silence. You've been this way since you were a child, reading the room before you knew what that meant, knowing when someone was in pain before they ever admitted it, sensing when someone wasn't saying everything, and feeling it in your skin like static. There is a reason your strength doesn't look like anyone else's. It was never meant to. You weren't born to perform power. You were born to embody it quietly, steadily, unshakably. This is why people either lean into you or retreat from you. Your very being reflects something raw and unfiltered in them. You remind others, sometimes painfully, of the depth they've avoided within themselves. And for those who are ready to heal, you become a sanctuary. For those who aren't, you become a mirror they're not ready to face. Either way, your energy does the work you were born to do. No effort, no explanation, just truth transmitted. And somewhere inside, you've always known this. You felt the tension between staying quiet to keep others comfortable and allowing your full presence to be felt. But you're starting to realize now that your power was never meant to be hidden or softened. It was meant to be anchored, to serve as a lighthouse in times like these. When people are desperate for depth but afraid of drowning, you are the ocean. Scorpio. And the time has come to stop pretending you're anything less. You've always had moments that defied logic, those flashes of knowing that came before the facts, those sudden waves of emotion that turned out to be warnings, those dreams that felt more like memories from another time. You've walked into places and felt the residue of things unspoken, as if the walls themselves whispered stories only you could hear. You've looked at someone and felt their truth before they opened their mouth. And you've sat beside broken people who didn't need your advice, only your presence to begin putting themselves back together. You may have doubted it at the time. You may have questioned whether you were imagining it, but you weren't. You were remembering activating something ancient, something encoded within you long before this lifetime began. These weren't coincidences. Scorpio, they were signs, markers, proof that your soul operates on a frequency others haven't yet tuned into. Every time you felt something rising inside you, like fire, raw, chaotic, untamed, then suddenly found yourself on the other side of it. Calmer, clearer, transformed. You weren't breaking down. You were shedding skin. You were dying and being reborn, all in the same breath. This cycle of internal combustion and silent resurrection has always been your nature. And the more it happens, the more your true self emerges, not a mask, not a role, but the original blueprint you've been carrying beneath all the layers life has forced you to wear. The truth is, your gifts have been active for far longer than you've allowed yourself to claim. They didn't arrive with a warning or a ritual. They simply were, and because of that, you may have dismissed them, minimized them, tried to explain them away to make others feel less uncomfortable. But the time for minimizing has passed. These signs, these moments of inner knowing, of unexplainable guidance, of emotional alchemy, they are not accidents. They are your compass. They are the voice of the energy that lives within you. The energy that has been passed down through blood, fire, and silence, waiting for someone with the depth to carry it. And that someone is you. Scorpio, you are not here to be ordinary. You are here to remember who you are, where you come from, and what you're meant to do when the fire inside you calls again. Because it will. And this time, you won't run from it. You'll rise with it. For years, you tried to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never built to hold someone like you. You softened your edges so others wouldn't flinch at your intensity. You filtered your words, dulled your emotions, kept quiet when your whole body was screaming with truth just to avoid being labeled as too much, too heavy, too complicated. You learned how to fold yourself inward, how to wear masks that made others comfortable, how to be silent in rooms that desperately needed your voice. And still, it never felt right. Because it wasn't. You were never meant to be small. Scorpio, you were never meant to be anything less than what you are. Deep, powerful, transformational. You can't stop the tide of the ocean by pretending to be a pond. You can't hold back volcanic force with polite conversation and half-hearted smiles. And you can't pretend to be untouched when your soul has walked through fire again and again and emerged wiser, sharper, more awake. The world has tried to convince you that your depth is dangerous, that your emotions are liabilities, that your power needs taming. But what they don't understand is that your strength doesn't come from dominance, it comes from survival, from surrender, from the kind of spiritual endurance that only those who've died 1,000 symbolic deaths can carry without collapsing under the weight. What you've been hiding isn't a flaw. It's sacred. It's the very force that the world needs, now more than ever, the courage to face what's dark, to feel what's real, to transform what's broken. And you, Scorpio, were never here to blend in. You were here to disrupt, to awaken, to bring the unseen into light and the buried into motion. You were born with the ability to transmute pain into wisdom, endings into beginnings, silence into revelation. So, this strength is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be wielded with integrity, with clarity, with the kind of grounded power that doesn't ask for permission because it already knows its place. You didn't come here to play it safe. Scorpio, ease was never the point. Comfort was never the destination. You came into this life with a contract signed in, silence a promise to dive where others fear to tread, to feel what others numb, to see what others deny, and to return from that descent carrying something only you could retrieve. Light born from shadow. While the world runs from pain, you meet it at the door. While others collapse under loss, you turn it into language, into meaning, into fuel. You are the soul alchemist, the one who knows how to hold brokenness in your bare hands and find within it the seed of a beginning no one else could imagine. This isn't about being fearless. It's about knowing that fear is just a threshold, and you were made to cross thresholds. You've lived through betrayals that shattered your trust, silences that crushed your spirit, chapters that ended without closure. And yet here you are, not just alive, but awake, more whole because of the breaking, not in spite of it. You know how to carry grief without letting it drown. You know how to sit with rage without letting it consume you. You know how to walk with wounds still healing and still offer warmth to others. That is your magic knot, the absence of pain. But the mastery of it, this is your sacred task. Scorpio, to be the one who sees clearly when others are blindfolded by fear, to transmute poison into medicine, not only for yourself, but for those who can't yet do it for themselves. You are not here to be a savior or a martyr. You are here to embody transformation, to show that it's possible to be cut open by life and still rise. Sharper, deeper, wiser. Every scar you carry is a map for someone else. Every time you choose to walk back into your own shadow and emerge with something luminous, you remind the world that healing is not passive, it's sacred labor. And you, Scorpio, were born to do that work. Quietly, powerfully, relentlessly. You are standing at the threshold of an entirely new cycle. Scorpio, And the choice before you is not about right or wrong. It's about alignment. You can continue pretending to be ordinary, continue walking quietly among those who have never seen your full shape, or you can rise, not loudly, not for show, but fully. You can rise as the living embodiment of transformation, as the one who doesn't just talk about change but becomes it. Don't let the weight of your past convince you that your destiny is small. It's not. The very fact that you've endured, evolved, and stayed true to your depth in a world that rewards surface, that alone is a kind of miracle. You've been cracked open enough times to know that the most sacred power is not the ability to control life, but the courage to feel it all and still choose love. Still choose truth. Still choose yourself. And every time you choose to shed another layer, to forgive without forgetting, to love again after betrayal, to speak truth even when your voice shakes, you are altering the frequency of the world around you. That is the power of your presence. That is what your choice can unlock. If your chest tightened reading this, if your heartbeat picked up pace, if something inside you felt like it had just been seen for the first time in years, that's your confirmation. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You've simply been called by a truth your soul has been waiting lifetimes to hear. From this moment forward, live as someone who knows exactly who they are. You are the strongest soul in your family's history, not because you are more talented or more accomplished, but because you are the culmination of everything they survived. You are the result of unspoken prayers, unfinished battles, and untold love stories. And now, you are the one who gets to write the next chapter. So write it fully, boldly, unapologetically. The world needs your depth. The universe is watching, and your ancestors are already cheering you on. Welcome back to your power. Scorpio, you were never lost, just waiting for the right moment to remember. And this is that moment. And so, Scorpio, if you've made it this far, it means something in you has stirred. Not just curiosity, but recognition. A part of you has heard these words not as something new, but as something ancient finally spoken aloud. This isn't the end of the message. It's the beginning of a remembering, of a returning. From this moment on, walk differently. Speak as someone who carries fire beneath the surface. Choose as someone whose bloodline has endured too much for you to live a half-life. You are not here to repeat patterns, you are here to end them, to transmute them, to rise not in spite of your depth, but because of it. If this resonated with you, honor it, share it. Let someone else remember who they are through your light. Because when one Scorpio awakens, others feel it too. You are the storm. You are the stillness after. You are the transformation the world forgot it needed. And now it remembers.